Greetings of the day. Here are some of the FAQs released by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare regarding COVID-19 vaccines that are there in India right now. These FAQs will help us as mythbusters to clear our doubts regarding COVID-19 vaccines that are happening in India right now. Now, the first FAQ is, which COVID-19 vaccines are licensed in India? As all of us know, two vaccines have been granted emergency use authorization by the Central Drug Standard Control Organization, CDSCO, in India. They are Covishield and Covaxin. Covishield made by AstraZeneca, manufactured by Serum Institute of India, and Covaxin manufactured by Bharat Biotech Limited. So these are the two vaccines that are given permission for emergency use authorization in India. And what is emergency use authorization or permission for restricted use? See, this is the biggest question in our minds. Are the vaccines really effective? They are given for emergency use authorization. So is it the first time that COVID-19 vaccine is given an emergency use authorization? These all doubts are there in our minds. Now we are getting a clarity from the government of India telling that emergency use authorization is a regulatory mechanism to allow the use of vaccines and medicines to prevent or reduce the impact of life-threatening diseases or conditions as caused by COVID-19. But before granting emergency use authorization, there will be rigorous assessments of laboratory and clinical trial data, including data on quality, safety, production of protective antibodies, and efficacy. See, safety is particularly important and it is very critical because without paying attention to safety, we cannot go forward. So safety is never compromised. And license is given when the manufacturer submits the complete data. And emergency use authorizations by Indian regulators is aligned with the global guidelines. So that is the most important thing we need to understand. And is this EUA, emergency use authorization, a new process introduced for COVID-19 vaccine alone? No, that is wrong. This concept of EUA, emergency use authorization, existed even before COVID-19 vaccine. Previously, emergency use authorization has been granted to vaccines like anthrax, Ebola, enterovirus, H7N9 influenza, and Middle East respiratory syndrome. And as of January 2021, 9 COVID-19 vaccines were in emergency use in numerous countries around the globe. So this is not the first time that an emergency use authorization is given to COVID-19 vaccine. Earlier, for several diseases, this emergency use authorization was given. Now, what technology has been used in development of the currently available two vaccines, that is Covishield and Covaxin, in India? See, Covishield vaccine manufactured by Serum Institute of India is a viral vector-based technology which is also used to manufacture Ebola vaccine. So the technology is also not new. And Covaxin vaccine manufactured by Bharat Biotech is a whole viral inactivated coronavirus vaccine which is used to manufacture vaccines like influenza, rabies, and hepatitis A. So people, the companies are already very much well versed with the technology of making the vaccines. So this is another myth buster. And the next one is, what is the dose schedule of both the vaccines? As per the permission granted by the Drug Control General of India, for Covishield, the second dose is to be administered 4 to 6 weeks after the first dose, and Covaxin is to be administered in 2 doses interval of day 0 and day 28. So this is the schedule for taking the vaccine. If you take Covishield, the second dose is to be administered in 4 to 6 weeks of the first dose. In the case of Covaxin, the 2 dose interval should be between 0 and 28. Now, another biggest question haunting everyone right now in the country, that is, developing a vaccine takes years, but this time our scientists have developed a vaccine against novel coronavirus in such a short time. How was this possible? So this is a question related to the effectiveness and efficiency of the vaccines. See, generally there will be a procedure for developing the vaccine, and developing a vaccine generally takes a lot of years of research. First of all, we need a vaccine candidate that has to be evaluated in animals for its safety and efficacy, and after the vaccine candidate passes a preclinical trial, it enters the clinical trial phase, and during these emergency situations, scientists across the world, they worked round the clock in the laboratory, and even the regulatory mechanisms were made very faster. All the phases have been done in tandem, in parallel, by keeping in mind the emergency situation that is prevailing in the world right now, and the whole process of getting the vaccine to be released to the public is accelerated, but without any compromise on protocols in any step. So this is the most important thing we need to keep in mind. And here is another very important question. Do I need to use the mask or other COVID appropriate precautions after receiving the vaccine? Yes, absolutely. It is absolutely necessary that everyone who has received the COVID vaccine should continue to follow the COVID appropriate behavior. That is, wearing the mask, 2 gaz ki duri, maintaining the physical distance, hand sanitization to protect the people, and these all things have to be followed normally. It does not mean that as you have taken the vaccine, you can come out of all these procedures. No, you have to wear the mask, maintain the hand sanitization, and you have to maintain the physical distance. So that is the most important thing we need to understand. And this is the biggest myth buster, and this is the biggest doubt in everyone's mind. That is, does vaccination protect me against newer strains or mutated virus of SARS-CoV-2? See, the body responds to the vaccination by making more than one type of antibodies to virus parts, including spike protein. Therefore, all vaccines are expected to provide reasonable amount of protection against the mutated virus also. So today we are saying that second wave is running, virus mutation, new mutation is going on. So if I take vaccine, so will I be protected against this mutated new strain of virus? Yes, definitely there will be some sort of protection, reasonable amount of protection will be there. And based on the available data, the mutations as reported are unlikely to make the vaccine ineffective. That means there is no data available so far telling that the new strain will make the vaccine that you have taken ineffective. The vaccine ineffective. That is the most important thing we need to understand. Now, another biggest question. Which vaccine is better, Covishield or Covaxin? See, there is no head-to-head comparison done between the two vaccines being used in India. So, one cannot choose one over the another. The technology is different, but their effectiveness is same. Both would work fine in preventing the infection as well as prevent a person from going into severe state of the disease. As a long-term effect, it would be preventing death for elderly people or those who have comorbidities like diabetes or hypertension or chronic kidney disease, etc. Now, in how many days will the vaccination create an adequate immune response and protection? This is another biggest question in the minds of the people. See, adequate immune response that has to be developed in the body takes 2 to 3 weeks after completion of the entire vaccination schedule. That is, after the second dose of either Covishield or Covaxin. So, but slowly the immune mechanism develops in our body, and the severity of the disease, if affected, will be very less. That is the most important point we need to keep in mind. And this is another very important question. What are the expected immediate and delayed side effects of the vaccine? In the case of Covishield, some mild symptoms like injection site tenderness that quite often happens to everyone, and injection site pain, headache, fatigue, myalgia, malaise, pyrexia, chills, arthralgia, nausea, and very rare events of demyelinating disorders have been reported following the vaccination with this vaccine. But these are all very common things which we need not bother much. And now coming to the Covaxin, some mild symptoms like injection site pain, headache, fatigue, fever, body ache, abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, dizziness, giddiness, tremors, sweating, cold, cough, and injection site swelling are the mild symptoms that are observed in Covaxin. But it need not happen to everyone. And many people are happy with the vaccine when they take it. And now, which drug should be taken to minimize the adverse effects of this vaccine? See, you should not take any painkillers except the thing that is prescribed by the government. In case of minor adverse effects such as injection site pain or tenderness or malaise or pyrexia, that is fever, paracetamol may be used to alleviate the symptoms. We should not take any other drug except that. And now, if a patient suffers from hypertension, diabetes mellitus, chronic kidney disorders, heart disease, lipid disorders, etc., can those patients safely take this vaccine? Yes, definitely. The vaccine is safe and efficacious in adults with comorbidities like hypertension, diabetes mellitus, chronic kidney disease, heart disease, lipid disorders, etc. The maximum benefit of getting the COVID-19 vaccine is for those who have such comorbidities. However, if you are concerned for any specific reason, it is better you consult your doctor before taking the vaccine. Now, this is the most important question again. Is it important for me to receive the same vaccine during the second dose? So the thing that we need to keep in mind is the vaccines available are not interchangeable. So first dose you take one vaccine and the second dose the next vaccine. No, you have to take the same vaccine. It is important to receive the second dose of same vaccine as the first one. And you can register yourself in the CoWIN app, and your first vaccine details are stored in the CoWIN app, and you will be given the same vaccine for your second dose also. So these are all the mythbusters and FAQs related to the COVID vaccine. So let us come forward to take the vaccine and protect ourselves against COVID-19. Thank you.